Scott Kajewski, Fairway Mortgage, here to help you, your clients, from start to finish, quickly, efficiently, and also they'll help you navigate this challenging market and challenging times with everything that's been going on. So here to help you grow your business however I can, 630-418-0829.
My name is Sean Robertson. I'm a real estate and estate planning attorney, and we concentrate in real estate and estate planning. We have over 50 years of title insurance experience. Call us at 630-780-1034. Gateville Law Firm, Sean Robertson.
My name is Joe Madrano, mortgage loan officer with Loan Depot. I strive to be your trusted brand when it comes to anything mortgage. My goal is to provide your clients with timely and relevant information so they can make powerful and informed decisions about their mortgage strategy. I'm also here to help you close more successful and happy transactions that will result in clients wanting to refer more business back to you.
Loan Depot is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 1055063.
Hello, Carol Fisher here with White Glove Building Inspections. We've been in business since 1990. We offer all the services you may need, both for residential and commercial. So give us a call. Let's make an informed decision here. Make it great.
Are you a realtor considering taking a break or retiring from the real estate business? It's important to ensure that your license remains active and in compliance.
Here at John's Real Estate Holding and Referral Network, we can help you with that. Please reach out to us at 815-355-4978 for any questions.
Hi, I'm Megan Wentland, your dedicated partner in the mortgage lending industry. With over 10 years of experience in a spot in the top 1% of mortgage originators, my experience is not only in lending, but building long-term successful partnerships. You can follow me on social media at Megan Wentland, listen in on my podcast at Mortgage Mom Wines, or reach out to me anytime at 708-904-1414.
Hello, Scott Seaton here, SLS Home Inspections, the home inspector with a heart. What's new? Well, I'll tell you what's new. SLS Home Inspections is now doing radon testing and sewer scope along with our regular great standard visual home inspection. Call today or schedule online at slshomeinspections.com, 815-644-6271. Have a great day.
Hi everyone. Angle Drone Solutions provides both aerial and ground-based photo and video services. Whether you need videos for your social media or pictures for your MLS listing, we have a solution for you. Give us a call at 630-605-3267.
Ray Manuel here with National Title Solutions, proud affiliate with Three Rivers Association. Don't forget, I'm here for your refis and your purchases. Call your title guy.
I'm Mike Montgomery with Kind Lending. I have many years of experience to take a very personal approach with every client to protect their interests and your commissions. We offer all the traditional and many non-traditional mortgage products. Give me a call, 630-973-6911. I walk around a lot. I'm Mike Montgomery with Kind Lending, co-chair of the Affiliates Committee. We're going to kick off the meeting here. Just wanted to make a couple announcements real quick. Got to get the spectacles so I could see. February 27th is the YPN Birthday Bash, $25. It's at Shanahan Lanes from 5:30 to 7:30. Make sure you sign up. Always a good time. March 14th is Trivia Night. $50 tickets. Table of 8 is $400. That's at Jacob Henry Mansion. And then March 19th is YPN Boot Camp, a collaboration with the Diversity Group. Save the date. Dan Peterson is a serial entrepreneur and sales and marketing expert with over 25 years of experience in business ownership, management, and operations. In 2012, he founded Flip Switch, an award-winning digital marketing and social media agency that works with companies ranging from mom-and-pop businesses to Fortune 500 clients. He is also a frequent podcast guest where he speaks on topics ranging from social media, marketing, artificial intelligence to entrepreneurship, parenting, and work-life balance. Dan resides in Frankfurt with his wife Amy and their 3 daughters Kylie, Taylor, and Brooklyn. And I would like to now turn it over to Dan Peterson.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Hey, there we go. All right. Well, thanks everybody. I see some familiar faces here and a few new faces from the last time I was here. There's two parts to this today. I'm going to do a quick 20 minutes-ish, something like that, presentation on AI and how it's going to affect all of our businesses moving forward for the next forever. It's not meant to scare you or do anything other than just educate you and kind of let you know some of what's happening and what's going to be happening, and how your business will need to pivot and utilize some of this in the years to come. Then we'll take a break, and then when I come back, it'll be the true meat of the presentation, which is marketing in 2025 and beyond. And I'll give you a bunch of tips and things on how you can better market yourselves for the next year plus. So we'll get going here. Let me see if this, give me 1 second. This was wonky earlier. And, oh, you know what I did? I know what I did. Hang on, everybody, sorry. Here we go. Nope. Here we go. I had the wrong one up first because I switched it last minute. All right. So what I'm going to do here is, this is going to be very brief. Like I said, I'm going to talk about this really quick, and then I'll open up for a few questions before the break. But I want to give you a little bit of a history of what is, hang on here, of what all of the details are with AI, how it came about, what we're looking at for the future. And for some reason, I did one of these presentations yesterday, and when I reopen the presentations, all of the slides are hidden. So it's real fun when you're trying to give a presentation and it's not working with you. Can you guys hear me okay over that? Over there? Yep. I'll talk loud. All right, so let's talk about the history of it really quick, because everybody thinks the AI is something new. It is not new. It started back in the 40s and 50s. In 1956, the term was coined, and it was coined by John McCarthy at the Dartmouth Summer Research Project on AI. It's hard to believe that it's been that many years ago that this term came about, now that we're just now in 2024 and 25 hearing more about it. In 60s and 70s, it started to expand, and then in the 80s, there was what's called an AI winter, where they stopped funding research on it, and it's ironic because it was due to inflated expectations but failure to meet those expectations. And here we are now all these years later, and it's all about funding and meeting all these different expectations. But oh, how things changed in a matter of 40 years. In the 80s and 90s, the rise of machine learning came about, and this is what's starting to affect things as far as we are concerned as business people and consumers. This is where they started to train these deep neural networks, as they call them, to make advances in the field. And what I mean by that is they started to train them to learn from themselves, learn from everything around them. And that's why you see things today like ChatGPT, these large language models that are able to listen to you, give it a prompt, and it'll turn around and give you whatever you want in return. That's because of all this stuff that they built machine learning-wise over the last 40 years. In the late 90s and early 2000s, it started to get integrated into mainstream technology. And you and I didn't see much of this in our fields because we don't deal and dabble in that. Now we do. Now everybody's starting to. But back then, it was mostly high-level stuff. Fast forward 2010s to today is the deep learning revolution, is what they call it. So this is where progress has been made unlike anything we've ever seen, because the AI machines, we'll call them, are learning from themselves at a rate that's so exponential that you wouldn't comprehend it if I was even able to explain it to you. Somebody tried to explain it to me. I was at the Microsoft Aon building up in Chicago last year. That's hard to say, 2024, last year. And they had a half-day presentation about this. And the amount of data that's being processed and the amount of storage that they need and the way these computers are working is something that my brain can't even comprehend. They were talking in terms like you and I talk with gigabytes and terabytes. Like if you have a 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive, that's a big hard drive, right? These guys are talking about exabytes and zettabytes and petabytes and words that I don't even know what they mean, and how they're going to have to build these storage centers and put them in oceans and underwater to keep them cool enough, because the processing heat that is put off from the processing is so intense and so crazy. So this has all just come about, as you know, in the last 10 or 20 years to the level where we're at now. And then the next step for this process that you're going to be hearing a lot about is the ethical side of it. You're probably already on social media and on other videos and seeing videos that you can't tell if it's real or not, right? Some of them you can kind of tell. My favorite ones are the commercials that you see on, like, you'll use like Joe Rogan talking about some product, but you can tell his lips aren't matching up with it, but it's his voice. But how do you sue these people? How do you stop this from happening when you don't know who's producing it and it's coming out of some social media farm in Thailand or China or Vietnam, where they have 100 people in a building just making fake stuff? So the AI ethics and questions of legality and copyright issues is going to be the biggest thing that you guys and I personally am going to have to deal with over the next decade to come, because your business, my business, when we create content, we will be at the mercy of the AI creators, these programs, whether it's something through Canva or you're doing it through another program. Gosh, that's so much better. I feel like I'm screaming at you guys.
I feel.
I love it. The ethical side, we're going to have to protect ourselves a little bit. We're not there yet. Like, if you go into ChatGPT right now and you have it create content for you, who knows where it came from, right? It's learning, it's pulling it in from literally everything in the world that's online. It's pulling that in and making content for you based on that. So if you say, give me 5 social media ideas that have never been used by any other company, and you really try to get it to go far out there, it's still pulling that from somewhere. Well, where that's pulling from could be anywhere, and therefore there could be potential copyright infringement issues. But we don't have to deal with it yet because we're too little. The big guys aren't even dealing with it yet. I mean, they haven't figured it out yet, I should put it that way. They're dealing with it, but they haven't figured it out yet. So the models like the GPTs, which are the generative pre-trained transformers, that's what GPT stands for, by the way. When you hear ChatGPT, now you know what it stands for. Those are the programs that people like us use to create content and make things that we couldn't make in the past that might take us hours or days. We can do it in minutes now. So I talk about the AI side of this a little bit now because it plays into some of the things that we'll talk about in the second part of this when we get into the actual marketing aspect. Well, hello. It's never done that before. Mic drop. That's funny. See, the AI is listening. It's doing its own thing. I didn't do that. I've done this 3 times. I've never seen that before. So just a little more education on this so that we all know what we're talking about moving forward. There's narrow AI and general AI. And the narrow AI is stuff like facial recognition, internet search assistance, like when you go on Google now and you type something in and it gives you the Gemini thing. That's what this is. It operates under a limited set of restraints based on what you give it. So if you tell Alexa to do something, or Siri, any of those chatbots, that's all narrow AI. General AI has larger cognitive ability and can do things similar to what humans can do, and can basically learn any intellectual task that a human can learn. Good news is it doesn't fully exist yet, so we're safe for a little while longer. But it's coming quickly, and the only scary part of this presentation comes towards the end when I tell you what all the predictions are for job losses and the effect of all of that kind of stuff. But I think you guys are safe as far as I can tell so far. Then there's 2 categories based on functionality. There's reactive and limited memory AI. And I don't want to get deep into this because this part doesn't really matter, but reactive machines are AI that don't have memory. They can't make future predictions. They're just using the algorithms that they have to make, whatever. Like an example they give here is Deep Blue, the IBM computer that beat Garry Kasparov. That was all the way back in the late 90s when that happened, and that was AI back then. Limited memory AI, though, can make informed decisions by using data that it's gathered recently. It memorizes that, it keeps it up here, so to speak, and makes decisions like self-driving cars do that. some of the other things, tech things that we see on a daily basis. But here's where it gets into our industries. This is what we are going to be using for the years to come when it comes to generative AI like ChatGPT. The key to all of it, the key to you using it well, is prompt engineering. If you can master this for your business, it's going to help you immensely for the next decade to come. We use this on a daily basis at my agency. How do we use it? Well, we get ideas for it. We get creative. It's like adding a whole team of creative people at the touch of a button. But here's the big but. It comes down to what you put in to get out what you want. And that's what prompt engineering is. So most of us, how many people here, show of hands, use ChatGPT or one of those on a daily basis or weekly? Pretty often. How many of you use it in place of Google right now for all of your searches? 2 people? 3 people? Okay. How many use it just for things like give me ideas for recipes or social media or things like that? About 3/4. Okay. Typical. That's pretty much the response. Google's not completely shaking in their boots yet because this only makes up about 4 or 5% of the searches, but it's quickly moving in that direction where more and more people are using the AI components of either ChatGPT or the AI components that are built into things like Instagram. So if you notice when you're on Instagram now and you go to the search bar and type in something, you can type in like a sentence, like give me videos about animals at the zoo, and it will give you those videos. You don't have to use hashtags and all that stuff now. It's using a larger language model to understand what you want and bring in those responses to you. And this plays into what we're going to talk about in the second half when it comes to how you build your business and how you start growing and using some of these tools, because the customers are going to use them, people are going to use them. You have to be able to use them on the front end to match those expectations on the back end. So prompt engineering is the practice of crafting inputs, prompts, to effectively guide the AI models and give them what you want back. It's a blend of art and science, and this is where your creativity meets the creativity of the AI. So the more in-depth creative input you can give the AI model, the better response you're going to get. Example, most of us in the last 20 years, we'll call it, have used things like Google to give us an answer, right? So we type in, even if you typed in like for social media, you're like, what are 10 social media ideas for a realtor? It will typically give you, in the past, it would give you websites with articles about realtor social media. There might be a list on those websites that you could pull from, but it's very generalized. It's very generic. It's the same thing for everybody in the room. Whereas now, if you know how to prompt it correctly, you can get very specific stuff to help you. So you can go, and here's where people make the mistake of thinking it's Google, because it's not. You can tell it extremely long prompts of what you want, and it will give you a result. For example, you might say, I'm a realtor in the south suburbs of Chicago. My target audience is new home buyers ages 24 to 44 who make $150,000 a year or more household income and are married and have kids, or are married and looking to have kids. Give me 10 social media ideas that speak to that audience and do it in the style, do it in a style that's humorous but not corny, including elements of modern pop culture, and keep them all under 150 characters. That's how long of a prompt you can give, and it will go spit it out 2 seconds, and you've got 10 prompts that are, or 10 prompt returns that are written specifically for you as the realtor. It's amazing. It's really crazy stuff. So that's where prompt engineering comes into play. And the more you can understand that it's not Google, and the more you can tell it exactly what you want, the better response you're going to get. So why is AI so critical for business owners and marketers like us? It will impact, and is already starting to impact, every single business in the months and years to come. I don't care what you do, who you are, where you're from, you will be impacted in some way by AI. If you don't use it, you'll still be impacted, just negatively, because your competitor will be using it. People that leverage this from CRM systems and sales modules and marketing tools and accounting services and everything that goes with a normal business, it can be augmented and improved with AI starting today, and certainly in the years to come, it's going to be incredible. So the people that are doing that are giving themselves more efficiency, more speed, and more productivity. If you're not using it, you're going to be left in the dust. Here are a few of the automated routine tasks that you can use it for. Chatbots and virtual assistants are great. It's an easy way to implement this stuff to keep your customer service going. Maybe you have a website you can add this stuff to, and it'll talk to somebody. And it's not like the chatbots that we used to see, where you can certainly tell it's like, how can I help you? And you tell it something, and then it can't help you because it can't figure out what you're saying. This is like talking to a human. And if it doesn't understand you, you tell it again in a different way, and it will understand you. But it's learning, and some of the vocal ones that I've heard, like the audio ones rather, you can't tell it's a bot. I've heard a few of them. It sounds just like a human. You would never know it's not a human. So appointment scheduling, data entry, anything that is task oriented, I would say, you can probably find a way to automate some or all of it using AI. And there's a lot of programs out there, and I'm not going to get into that because I haven't tried them all and I wouldn't know what's good or not, but you can certainly look into it for your specific needs and find some good ones. I will say for video editing, like if you shoot like this video here that they're shooting, so this thing comes out, let's say it's an hour long, I can pop it into a couple different programs like Opus or Munch, and it will chop it. It will listen to it. It'll listen to me talk. It will find the 1-minute segments that are good for social media. It'll chop it into that, give it a caption, give it a virality score of how it thinks it's going to do, add hashtags if I want it to, size it properly for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and it'll pop that out, and then all I have to do is copy and paste it into whatever social media platform I want, and it does it in a matter of minutes. I don't have to know anything about editing. I just put the video in there, the link to the video. So like when these go up on your website or YouTube, take that link, pop it in there, it'll just digest it for you. Very easy way to make social media content without needing an ounce of editing skill. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but data analysis for some businesses is going to be huge with this. It's going to be able to process and chew up all those numbers that you put in, whatever data you put in. It's going to chew it up and spit it back out a lot faster than you and I ever could. Enhancing customer service, this is a big one. I mentioned it a second ago, but social media platforms are starting to use a lot more of this. I don't know how many of you are using the AI automation part of Facebook, but if not, you should definitely look into it. What it does is, it used to be they had like one option, right? And it was, if somebody messages you, you can basically have like one response. So if they're like, hi, I'm looking for a home in New Lenox, you could have it say, hi, my name's Dan. Somebody will be with you shortly. Right? It's like one kind of one-way thing. Now you can put in keywords. It'll understand what the person's asking you, and you can have different responses lined up for different areas, different types of questions, different types of conversations. And that's only getting built out more, bless you, only getting built out more and more and more by the month and year, to the point where this is, like the way it is now is totally different than it was a year ago. So definitely look into Facebook automated responses, because that's going to help you save a lot of time, and it's going to give you a lot better customer service for people that find you on Facebook or some of those platforms and message you. We'll talk about this in the next segment, but improved marketing and sales is a no-brainer. I even mentioned a couple on here. Munch I just talked about. Simplified is another one. Opus seems to be taking the lead right now as far as capabilities and pricing. I want to say it's like $20 a month, and you can pop stuff in, like I said, and it'll spit it right back out for video editing, I mean. But we'll talk more about this in the next one, so I don't want to hang on that. And of course, the big one that we all talk about on a daily basis is ChatGPT. This is the one that comes up in conversation daily, basically. But here's a few ways you can use it if you didn't know or might want to copy this list down. Obviously, you can come up with creative ideas using it. You can write sales scripts. It's good for that. You can actually, some programs you can practice selling with it back and forth, which is kind of cool. You can caption social media posts, of course. Writing emails is a good one for people that aren't very good at writing, or if they are nervous about how something might sound. You can have it do that for you. I know a lot of people using it for that. And generating images or graphics. That one's a little iffy. You got to be careful, and you'll see. I'm not going to spoil it. In the next one, there's a funny slide that relates to that. But the image production that comes out of some of these platforms, like Canva, is not a good one. Canva can be good. Canva can also be ridiculous and give you all kinds of crazy-looking images. People with lots of fingers and toes and things like that. So you have to be a little bit careful, but that's getting really good. And my professional opinion is within the next year, there will be immense strides in the image production capability and video production capability where you'll be able to create stuff and nobody will know that it's not real. Which is nice, because then you don't have to go on, you don't have to find stock photos, for example, of something. You can actually create your own stock photo in the manner that you want it to be, using the exact thing that you want it to use, so that it's custom to you, and you're not feeling like you're stealing it from like Adobe Images or Getty Images or things like that. And then related to ChatGPT, this is important, and I got about 2 minutes here and I'll wrap this section up. What's the most important thing you can do right now if you're using ChatGPT is to make sure you read it through and edit it and customize it a little bit for yourself. No matter what response you get out of it, it's probably not 100% perfect and doesn't reflect you exactly the way you want it. So either have it rewrite it 10 different ways until you find the way you want, and it'll learn over time. So like it'll get better for you. But certainly the first few times you use it, it's not going to be great sometimes. So what the Neuron did, which is an AI blog, they went through a Reddit thread and asked people, what's your personal tell word to see if something's ChatGPT generated? Because you can kind of tell sometimes. Things like, that's definitely AI generated. A lot of restaurants use it, and there's like 50 different emojis and things like that. Well, here's the giveaway list. So if you can avoid these, people won't necessarily know that you used AI to create it. Unnecessary conclusions. So if you write a blog or write an article, at the end, it always recaps. It's like high school, right? You tried to get that 500 or 1,000 words, and so you're adding extra words in, and then at the end you recap, and you take the first paragraph and rewrite it for the conclusion, so that it gives you an extra 150 characters, right? Like we all did this. Well, that's what ChatGPT does. So it'll be like, here are 10 ways you can do this, 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 this. And then it'll give you the 10 ways, and at the end it'll be like, these 10 ways are a great way to, like, and it's just repeating it in a different format. Don't do that. Bullet point lists that are too long. Excessive adjectives. Again, it reminds me of high school, trying to stuff it with words to make it longer. And then frequent use of specific words that you normally wouldn't use, like weave a tapestry of thought and streamline your overall process while you delve into the, like nobody talks like that. So be careful how it comes out. And in fact, using Delve, these were papers with Delve in the title before ChatGPT took off. So you could see the massive spike in the amount of times that word was used after people started using ChatGPT. I don't know what that screen was. So last part I said I would not scare you, but just tell you a little bit. The future is now. Don't wait to get on this stuff. In the next couple years, they're kind of pre-calling it, pre-naming it the disruption. Goldman Sachs says there'll be up to 300 million jobs lost globally. McKinsey Institute says by 2030, 12 million Americans will have to switch jobs. That's not including ones that are affected. That's just, they're going to have to. 30% of hours worked in the U.S. could be automated by 2030. So I'm telling my kids, because most of us in this room are middle-aged on up. I'm 45, but I'm telling my kids, you better get into something. Hopefully you love it and you find a way to monetize that passion. But at the very least, you better find something that can't easily just be done by AI. Because that list is growing and growing and growing. So physical things that can't be done unless it would be a robot, which we're way, way away from that yet. But like physical things, I'm just trying to plumbing, obviously, like plumbing, electricians, the trades, all of that. there's always going to be a need for that stuff. But some of the stuff, anything data related and processing related and all of that is very much under the microscope. And these are the jobs that Goldman Sachs and Kinsey Institute listed as the top ones that will be most affected. I'm not here to argue with anybody. This is their words, not mine. But this is what they are saying will be the most displaced in the next 5 to 10 years. Some of them are starting already. Any quick questions about this before we take I believe we're due for a break here, and then.
Real estate agent on that.
No, you're okay right now. But you know what is, and you can probably all speak to this, I mean, you're seeing a lot more of the self-buy, self-sell type of things going through platforms like Redfin and Realtor.com and that kind of stuff, where people are somewhat getting away from a realtor. The younger people, I feel like, mostly, but you would know more about that than I would, of course. Anything anybody wants to bounce off me about AI? I know it's kind of like most people are still sticking their head in the sand, and I tried myself for a long time. I'm like, yeah, right. But now that I've become as educated as I have on it, like I've done like a 10-hour Harvard thing online, learned a lot about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is wild. This is absolutely crazy. Yes, Joe.
And maybe later on, if we have time at the end, if you could do like a live prompt.
Sure, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then put it up on the screen and, just off the cuff.
Absolutely.
And see what comes out, just so that we can see how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea. All right, everybody. So we're going to do something now, and then I'll be back up here in a few minutes, I believe. So it's all yours.
Hey guys, I'm Ray Manuel. Sorry for being late. Again, thank you for.
My pleasure.
While we're setting up here, we just want to do a couple announcements here. He's doing a short video here from our sponsors here and our affiliate sponsors.
Steal this from me really quick. There you go.
Shout out to the affiliates committee and to all the education sponsors. Without their marketing dollars, this event wouldn't happen. So again, appreciate you guys, especially if you guys haven't. Make sure you guys talk to everybody in the back row back there. We are doing some raffles here, so there's a little bucket. I'll pass it around there. Some of the affiliates are giving away some gift cards here, and we're going to do a raffle here. So if you are interested, just put your card in there. Yeah, thank you. Pass it out. And then obviously, if you guys have any questions, again, I know we mentioned it just now. If you have any questions for Dan, just write them down, and we'll try to go over them afterwards. So I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you again for taking the time, and take it away, John, when you're ready.
Market and challenging times with everything that's been going on. So Scott Kajewski, Fairway Mortgage, here to help you, your clients, from start to finish, quickly, efficiently, and also they'll help you navigate this challenging market and challenging times with everything that's been going on. So here to help you grow your business however I can. 630-418-0839.
My name is Sean Robertson. I'm a real estate and estate planning attorney, and we concentrate in real estate and estate planning. We have over 50 years of title insurance experience. Call us at 630-780-1034. Gateville Law Firm, Sean Robertson.
My name is Joe Madrano, mortgage loan officer with Loan Depot. I strive to be your trusted brand when it comes to anything mortgage. My goal is to provide your clients with timely and relevant information so that they can make powerful and informed decisions about their mortgage strategy. I'm also here to help you close more successful and happy transactions that will result in clients wanting to refer more business back to you.
Loan Depot is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 1055063.
Hello, Carol Fisher here with White Glove Building Inspections. We've been in business since 1990. We offer all the services you may need, both for residential and commercial. So give us a call. Let's make an informed decision here. Make it great.
Are you a realtor considering taking a break or retiring from the real estate business? It's important to ensure that your license remains active and in compliance.
Here at John's Real Estate Holding and Referral Network, we can help you with that. Please reach out to us at 815-355-4978 for any questions.
Hi, I'm Megan Wentland, your dedicated partner in the mortgage lending industry. With over 10 years of experience in a spot in the top 1% of mortgage originators, my experience is not only in lending, but building long-term successful partnerships. You can follow me on social media at Megan Wentland, listen in on my podcast at Mortgage Mom Wines, or reach out to me anytime at 708-904-1414.
Hello, Scott Seaton here, SLS Home Inspections, the home inspector with a heart. What's new? Well, I'll tell you what's new. SLS Home Inspections is now doing radon testing and sewer scope along with our regular great standard visual home inspection. Call today or schedule online at slshomeinspections.com, 815-644-6271. Have a great day.
Hi everyone. Angle Drone Solutions provides both aerial and ground-based photo and video services. Whether you need videos for your social media or pictures for your MLS listing, we have a solution for you. Give us a call at 630-605-3267.
Ray Manuel here with National Title Solutions, proud affiliate with Three Rivers Association. Don't forget, I'm here for your refis and your purchases. Call your title guy.
I'm Mike Montgomery with Kind Lending. I have many years of experience to take a very personal approach with every client to protect their interests and your commission. We offer all the traditional and many non-traditional mortgage products. Give me a call, 630-973-6911.
Those are your sponsors. You got the 5% again.
Oh, that's all right. I can yell loud.
That's not good.
It flashed a couple times last time.
So it's good. Okay.
There we go. Perfect. Hey, I'm wearing the same shirt. Oh, yeah, thank you. I forgot I unplugged that. All right, I think I checked this one out and none of the slides are hidden. So this is the meat of it. This is what you really came here for. The AI thing is something that I think Joe and I and Mike and I talked about several months ago, kind of throwing in there. And it's a good education point for you and hopefully kind of a reminder that it's something that you need to look into seriously moving forward, especially if you're not planning on retiring in the next couple of years. All right, so the main part of this, marketing in 2025 and beyond, the reason that I call it and beyond is because these are what we predict in the marketing industry to be the top, it's kind of the top layer method of how things are going to work for several years to come, maybe forever, I don't know. But it's certainly going to be some long-standing info here that you're going to be able to apply for a long time. It's not going to outdate itself very quickly. It is fairly short, again, like 30 minutes, something like that probably, and then I'll give plenty of time for Q&A because that's usually where most of your value comes from anyway. You can give me specific questions and I'll give you specific answers. But let's dive right in here. So a couple quick fun stats in the beginning. Did you know that people spend almost 2.5 hours a day on social media? I think that that's completely incorrect. I would say it's probably more like 4 or 5, 6 hours a day. But this is what they say online. I don't know. Either way, the reason I bring this up is more of what's at the bottom. 50% of people 65 and older use it. Again, I think it's probably more like 75%. My wife's grandma is 92 or something like that, and she's on it more than I'm on it. And about half of those are using YouTube. And YouTube, as I mentioned, if you were at the last one of these that I was up here last year, it is certainly a platform that is not utilized. It's underutilized by a lot of business owners, a lot of people in every industry, certainly in your industries. And I'll talk about that more as we get into this a little bit. But did you also know, this is a fun one, every year the average person scrolls through the equivalent of 3 miles of content. Probably more like 10 miles, but we'll call it 3. And I guess it depends on the size of your screen, right? I mean, I've got this big phone here. I don't know how that plays into it. But the reason I actually bring this up is because it plays into what I'm going to talk about next, which is kind of the heart of the matter here of why it's so important to stop the scroll, because people are scrolling 3 miles a year. which is, like I said, that's why attention is the name of the game. So if you take nothing else away from this today, I want you to remember that the goal of what you do on social media and marketing is to get the attention of people, because it is crazy how much content is out there on social media, and it's very difficult to get attention unless you have really good content. And the algorithms, which we dive into pretty heavy here in a minute, are completely focused on matching those interests. So your job is to get people's attention and keep it for as long as you can. And how do you do that with so much noise? Or my favorite slide that I promised you, how do you do that with so much noise? You can see what's wrong with this one. She's got 3 arms, 4 phones, 2 arms coming out of 1 sleeve. Thanks, AI. That was a great job you did there. I crack up every time I see that. Well, here's 3 ways that you can do this. You stop the scroll first and foremost. So you have about 1 second, maybe not even that, to really get people's attention when they're scrolling. And I always tell people, encourage people to think of you as the customer, as the audience. When you're on social media, how long do you give it before you scroll past a video, right? I mean, 1 or 2 seconds probably. If it doesn't catch your attention, you're on to the next thing. If it's not relevant to you, you're on to the next thing. If it doesn't look funny, engaging, entertaining, educational in your sector, and I add in your sector because, for example, I get a lot of videos about entrepreneur stuff, marketing platforms, different SaaS platforms that I might use as a business operator, things like that, always trying to sell me stuff. But some of the best pieces of content are the ones that are targeting me, and they say, like, are you a agency owner that struggles with XYZ? Like, well, yes, I am. And then it goes on to the next thing. It's like, well, that's me too. And the longer it keeps me watching, the better chance that they have of me buying something from them or using them. But they got to get me in that first 1 or 2 seconds before I'm scrolling on. So stopping the scroll is huge. And number 2 is understanding the algorithms. So about 3, 4, 5, I don't know, it's probably been at least 4 years ago now. When Musical.ly turned over to TikTok and that short form video format, say that 10 times fast, short form video format dominated, right? That's what we all use today now on Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok for a couple more days, and LinkedIn. Most people don't realize that LinkedIn has a short form video. How many people in here knew that LinkedIn has short form video just like TikTok and Reels? 1 person. Everything's going that route. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, it's going to go that route. They're getting ready to change, sounds like fairly soon, to having that kind of format. Because this is the TV now. Everybody's on here. Even when they're watching TV, they're still on here. Their second screening is what they call it. So how do you get that attention from people? Well, part of it is understanding the algorithm. So going back to what I was saying, like 4 years ago, I'm just throwing that number out. It could be 3, could be 5, could be 6. I don't remember. Time flies. But anyway, for the sake of argument, several years ago, when they switched over to the short form video format on most of these platforms, the algorithms changed as well. And they've really updated in the last year or so to really move towards the interest graph. So it used to be called the social graph. Now it's called the interest graph. If you remember back when you used social media years ago and you're on Facebook, let's just say Facebook for sake of time here. I won't go into all of them, but if you're on Facebook, you would see a lot of content from friends, family, and pages that you followed, right? Now, you don't have to follow pages and you see content based on the content. You're not, that's why follower counts and all of that are dwindling. It doesn't really matter. We get clients all the time asking us, you know, like, I just don't have enough followers. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's basically a vanity metric at this point. Because we have clients that might have 500 likes or followers on their page, but reach 50,000 people a month that are targeted local people that are actually potentially going to spend money with them. Doesn't matter about that 500. Now, there are exceptions to that, of course. If you're really in a business where you have to connect and talk back and forth and really build deep relationships with people for a long period of time, then yeah, if you have 1,000 followers and you're really communicating and those 1,000 are really engaged with what you're doing, then it makes sense. But if those 1,000 are spread all over God's green creation, and never are going to spend a dime with you, and they're just following you because they follow you, then what good does it really do you other than to look nice that you have 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers? Hence the vanity metric name. And I didn't come up with that name. That's kind of what the industry is calling it. In fact, Instagram's talked for over a year now, probably almost 2 years, about getting rid of likes and follows. One, because they feel like it harms teens by not getting enough likes and follows. So they're mentally like, well, I'm not worth it. I'm worthless because I'm not getting likes and follows. So that's one reason. The other reason is because it doesn't really matter. The algorithms don't skew to likes and follows anymore. They skew to engagement. Not page likes. I'm talking, in this case, when I say likes, engagement, liking the piece of content itself, not liking the page, not following the page. So when you create content, you're creating it, sending it out into the ether, and it can land and resonate with millions of people. My daughter, I might have told this story last time I was here. If you've heard it, sorry. She locked herself in the bathroom. I did 3 one-minute videos on TikTok, and of me trying to talk her through how to turn the little thing on there, and she was 3 years old, super cute. And I woke up and she had 12,000 followers on TikTok, and the views were like 1.6 million or 1.3 million views overnight, literally overnight, like in a matter of probably 14 hours. So that shows you that she had almost no followers at the time, like 100 followers on TikTok, wakes up with 12,000. Well, how is that possible? It's because that content resonated with so many people. And people were engaged. We're getting comments like, I got to know what's next. Did she get out? What's that? It's like a little TV show. My point is that when you create content today, now that was a couple years ago, it's even more so today. You can make a good piece of content right now and hit X number of people without having hardly any following. Your first post on your page could be outstanding and blow up with no followers. So understanding that the algorithms are based solely now on the interest graph and not the social graph. They don't care who you're connected to. They don't really care about any of that, other than they take into account a little bit like the pages you follow. So if you follow all the NFL team pages, like let's call it sports pages, so ESPN, NFL Zone, NFL this, that, you're going to get a lot of extra NFL content potentially. But even still, if you don't go watch NFL videos and sports videos, even though you follow those pages, the fact that you're not watching those videos means you're not going to get that. I watch a lot of car crash videos. I watch a lot of, like those dash cam videos and things like that. And my feed's just full of that stuff. And that's my mindless scrolling that I do to separate myself from reality for a little while every day. So I get in the zone. And if you've noticed in the last year probably, maybe year and a half, it's gotten to the point now where as soon as you watch one video, the next one is probably the same type. It doesn't take several videos and several whatever. It's like immediately it's reading what you're doing. So how do you reverse engineer that as a business owner to get people to see your content because you're posting something that they want to see in their feed? Well, the trick to this is being extra creative. And it sounds like, well, that's easy to say, right? But it really is the name of the game. Because as we already said, this is the TV. So people want to watch things that are entertaining. They want to be entertained. They want to watch things that are funny, relevant, engaging, thoughtful, mindful, and demure. Nobody got that one? You got it, I saw. They want to be entertained. And if you can entertain them, and you can be that, that company, that video that stops the scroll, you're going to get the attention, which is, again, the name of the game. The whole thing is about keeping you on the platform. So we talked about this, the interest graph, not the social graph, meaning you want to keep people's interest. But as I just said, which is why I switched screens here, the platforms care about one thing, keeping you on the platform. They want you on it 24/7, 365. That's all they care about is you watching content. Or in this case, your potential customers, your communities watching content. So you have to learn to play that game. Here's a few ways that you can help yourself learn to play the game. So these are the keys to understanding how these algorithms work at the next level. So we know the top level, 30,000 foot, is attention, right? The minutia within that boils down basically to these 5 steps. So relevance. Past activities such as likes and searches, things that you've watched, things you've liked, things you've searched for, that plays into what you see as a user, as an audience participant. Engagement, high levels of likes, clicks, comments, shares, all of that. So the more content you put out that attracts likes, clicks, comments, and shares, the better. There's a stat, and I lost it. I wish I had have recorded it and put it in here when I built this. But I forget what the percentage is of married couples who watch videos in bed at night instead of watching TV shows. So, and my wife and I do this. Like, I'll share a bunch of videos with her on Instagram Messenger. She'll share them to me. And then once, twice a week, we'll be like, hey, bring up your Instagram feed. You got to watch all these videos I sent you. They're hilarious. And that's how we kind of bond over that. Instead of watching a TV show, we watch that. And this is becoming a very, very popular thing. So how do you create video content that gets people to want to share it with their spouse or a friend or family member or business acquaintance? If you can hack that and do that, you're going to be very successful. Recency is another ranking component of algorithms. So new content ranks higher. So the more you post, the more opportunity you have to put out new content. Because here's how the algorithms work. You create a piece of content, they send it out to X amount of people. They get feedback from that X amount of people. Were people watching it? Did they watch the whole video? Did they only watch 5 seconds? Did they watch 20 seconds, 40 seconds? All these different markers or whatever they have. Did they share it? Did they like it? Did they comment on it? Yes, they did. No, they didn't. Then they send it out to more people of similar subsets, trying to figure out who it plays with, who it's working with. They do that, and then all that data says this piece of content would resonate really well with this audience. Let's send it out, and if it does well, then they send it to more. And if it doesn't do well, they kill it, and that's why some videos you put out only get 100 views, and others get 100,000. Depends on who the algorithms match it with, and if your content is good in the first place. The only way you're going to know if your content is doing well, and the only way you're going to be able to spot trends with your own content is if you put out a lot of content. If you put out 5 pieces of content a month, it's too little. You're not going to know if somebody is really resonating with it or if it's going to work or not because it's too small of a sample size. But if you put out 3, 4, 5 pieces of content a day, you get a nice big chunk, plus you can touch different subsets and different cohorts of audience members. This piece of content resonates with the new home buyer. This one resonates with the older home seller. This one is for the mortgage refinance. This one is for reverse mortgage. See what I'm saying? Like, you can parse it out, but if you only put out one piece of content here and there, you don't get that opportunity because you can't splice up one video and make it work for 5 different audiences. Quality, and this is a big one. I don't mean quality like the video content is good. I don't mean quality like the video quality is good, like the camera that you shoot it with. Okay, you don't need a $40,000 camera to make good video content. You don't have to carry this camera around with you to make good video content. These phones have great cameras on them. They're plenty good. The name of the game is speed. You want to create and crank out as much content as you can quickly, because that is the competitive advantage. It's not sitting down debating what to create, then creating it, then editing it, and then saying, oh, I don't like how my hair looks, and reshooting it, and then taking your, I did 2 videos in that shirt, I can't do another one in it because they'll recognize the same shirt. Like, I wear this thing to half the presentations I do. It's my profile picture on here, for crying out loud. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. What they care about is the quality of what you're giving them value-wise. Are you funny? Are you educating? Are you engaging? Are you giving them something to care about? So when I say quality, I mean higher quality and informative text, and creator credibility is another one. The more that you create, the more credibility you get, not just with your audience, but with the algorithms. Keep in mind, their whole goal is to keep you on the platform. So if you're creating a lot of content, they know that you're a reliable source. And if your content starts doing well, now you're not just reliable, you're actually doing the good work of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whoever, because you're creating content that provides them with the product that they sell, which is attention. So you become the little minions that give the big social media companies what they need to feed the beast. The better you do that, the more they're going to show your content to people. And then AI predictions. The reason I started off the first half with AI is because I touched on it several times throughout this. The AI predictions, the algorithms use predictions using AI to know what you want to watch ahead of time. So based on everything you've done, all that data, they bring that together, and the AI processes it faster than a normal program could because it's all in real time. Think about that. Like, you scroll videos. Anybody ever thought about this? So let's say I watch that car crash video, right? By the time my thumb goes, whoop, there's another car crash video there. Like, how does that happen? Think about how fast that processing is working to bring that into my feed at a rate that I can consume it that makes sense for both me and for the platform. It's wild, but it's all AI driven. And the smarter the AI gets as we move forward, the more it's going to matter the type of content you create. Now, how do we use all that to our advantage? Well, one, you focus specifically on your audience. By audience, I don't mean the people that follow you necessarily. I mean, who do you want to reach? So what is your demographic? What does that look like? If you're trying to target 25 to 45-year-old first-time, or 25 to 35-year-old first-time home buyers who make X amount of money, they live in X region, do this, that, and the other, whatever fits in your in that subset for you, your content needs to focus on them because that's who it's going to resonate with. If you're talking to that audience, you're like, hey, are you a 25 to 35-year-old first-time home buyer that lives in Joliet? Are you looking for your first home? Da-da-da-da-da. If I'm 45 and I've already got a home, I swipe. So that's focusing on the audience you want it to focus on, not on just everybody, if that makes sense. You're not shooting stuff out into the wild hoping it lands. Everything you do needs a purpose, and it needs to be targeted to a certain degree. Have something in your mind of what you're trying to accomplish with it. Number two is prioritize engagement. The more the audience engages with it, the more it triggers those algorithms to show the content. I just talked about that for a couple minutes, so I won't beat the dead horse, but I can't say it enough, really. It's kind of the key to the whole thing. Shareable content is one of the highest triggers for the algorithm. Getting stuff that people want to share with other people. It's a big one. Content that's saved because it's tips or a process or something that somebody's going to need to refer back to later. So creating some type of helpful list, like here's everything you need to know as a first-time home buyer in the in the order in which you need to do it. So here's the top 5 things that if you're looking for a new home, here's what you need to do. If you're looking to sell your home, here's what you need to do. Valuable content that goes out to a certain cohort of people that would care about that. And then encourage them in the copy and on the graphic, be like, save for future use. Save for future reference. You have to tell people what to do sometimes. They always say, like, you can't get the sale unless you ask for the sale type of thing. You can tell them all the benefits, all the features, all the stuff, but if you don't say, all right, sign here and close the deal, then as soon as they walk out the door, they forget you, and the next guy that asked for the sale gets it. It's kind of similar with this. Tell people what to do. And then authenticity matters. Be yourself. Build a reputation based on you, your service, your brand, especially your personal brand. And I talked about this last time I was here. Personal branding is huge, guys. People want to recognize a face. They want to know a person, especially as AI continues to consume us. And we haven't seen anything yet. Faces of people we know are going to become more and more important. So when you become the face of your brand, I mean, look at like State Farm, for example, right? They got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they got that whole thing going on. One of my favorite ones was Mahomes, and then Kelce was Ma-Auto. That's genius. And the new one is Boondele and Save for ballet. Instead of bundle and save, it's Boondele Save. Like, that's really, really smart marketing. Catchy. But that's a brand that they're building. They're using the Mahomes face in conjunction with State Farm's reputation and brand, and they're building almost like another brand with it because every video now has those guys in it for the most part. So it's become its own thing. Well, how does your face get recognized? I know some people in the, I mentioned this last time I was here too. I'm from Champaign originally, in that area, just outside, but I lived in Champaign for a long time. And the top 2 or 3 realtors down there are still in my mind because they were everywhere. They still are everywhere. It's Nate Evans' group. Stephanie, can't remember her last name, but she's got big hair and she goes out to rock concerts, and that's her brand. And she posts rock concert stuff with her big 80s hair, and she's the realtor with the big hair. That's literally her tagline, the realtor with the big hair. Or at least it used to be. I don't know if that changed, but that's the way it's been for as long as I've known her, for probably 25 years. Brand matters and authenticity matters. And if you try to fake it and become something you're not online and try to become a caricature of yourself, I don't even mind that. Even if you wanted to be a caricature of yourself, at least be consistent with it. Like if you have a character that you become when you're on video and that's your mascot of sorts, great. I actually think that could be a really good idea. But you got to stick with it. It can't be a fake way to do it. You just acting like something else because you're on camera is different than you specifically trying to be a marketing tool for yourself as a mascot of sorts. But people can sniff that authenticity thing out. They'll know. So let's take a look at a few different types of content. We talk about stopping the scroll. It's a big one. How are we doing on time here? Oh, we're right on. It's perfect. So there's like 3 videos, I think 2 or 3 videos I'm going to show you. I think it's 3. 3 kind of different types of content, a little something entertaining than me talking. And I show these just to give you an idea. One is very much stop the scroll and get you to watch it. Another one is just purely entertainment, but it's tied in with entrepreneurship, which is why I watched it. And then the third one is educational in nature and personal brand, like I just talked about with the face of a person. And it's always the same. Always, every video looks and feels exactly the same, but you know what you're getting from it. And I'll explain as we go. So let me see if I can bring this up without breaking anything. And so we'll start with this one. Let me see if the audio is working. All right, let me unmute it.
Have it. Jealous?
All right, so let me give you the preface to this really quick. So this is Crippling Hot Sauce is the company. And this is the owner. This kid's the owner. His name is Drew. I'm going to take a step back and tell you something I forgot to tell you earlier about paid ads. So before I get into this, because this matters for what I'm going to show you. So let's discuss paid ads really quick, because everything I've been talking about is organic content. Just making content, and it goes out and it does its thing. Paid ads are different. That's strategically placed. You're putting in the faces of people that you want to put it in front of. So if you want to sell a home to a home buyer and you're looking for 25 to 35 years old that make $150,000 or more, that have X amount of open lines of credit, that have a wife and kids or a husband and kids or whatever, like you can dial it in specific to that, literally lines of credit and everything. I don't know if you knew that or not. And then you send it out and that ad shows up for those people. So, where was I going with that? So those paid ads, when you put them out there, they historically, I'll say it this way, historically the way it's been done is you create a piece of content that you think is good. Now I say you, I mean me too. Like we used to do this all the time. You create content and be like, oh, that's a really good post. That's my ad. Or I'm going to create this ad and I really like the way it is. And then you put money behind it and then it's like, and nothing happens. You're like, well, why didn't that work? That was the best video I've ever done, right? Instead, the way you should do, and this is what my agency has been doing now for some time, is you put out lots of content, like I said earlier, because that gives you a large bucket of content to look at as a whole. And then that one piece of content that blows up. So some of them, maybe you average 1,000 views, 2,000, 1,000, 2,000, and then one that's 50,000 or 100,000. That's your ad. You turn that into the ad because it has proof that the audience liked it and it has proof that the algorithms received it well and used it well. They've already done the work for you. Now you're just pouring gas on a fire that already exists. Whereas if you put out paid ads and you think it's good or not, it doesn't matter because your opinions and your feelings don't matter. It all comes down to the way it actually functions. So if you put out an ad and you just immediately put gas on the fire by running an ad and it doesn't do well, that money's gone and you had no proof that it would have done well or not. But if you let it get proof first and then you put the fuel on the fire, then it works. That's what happened here. This kid, this was an organic piece of content that they posted that ran well, did very, very well organically, and then they turned it into the paid ad, and then they sold a ton of hot sauce from it. And he's been on all these shows, the Today Show, all the different things. He's made the tour. And it's really funny. But stopping the scroll is the point of this video. So the very first line that he says when I turn it on is why it's how I found it. It's why I watched the whole thing. Because normally, and I like hot sauce, so it's well placed. But just listen to what he says here and think of how you could come up with a sentence that stops the scroll.
My name's Drew, and I have cerebral palsy, and you can't have it. Jealous?
There's the hook.
Anyway, look, I can't free solo or rip a half pipe, and I really suck at chess, which is unrelated. That's why I started my company, Rippling Hot Sauce. Relax. I can say it. I mean, look at me. It's pretty self-explanatory. My sauce is loaded with flavor, with local, fresh ingredients. Oh, and we're not some greedy, boring, bloated corporate sauce. 5% goes to cerebral palsy. I mean, anti-cerebral palsy. We're trying to fix this. Jeez. And here's the real kicker. If you buy my hot sauce, then I can finally afford a kick-ass wheelchair with a glowing undercarriage, some sick rims, and a fish tank for some reason. I would still have cerebral palsy, but at least a sick wheelchair. Rippling Hot Sauce. It's the hottest thing on 4 wheels.
So very entertaining. In that first sentence, my name's Drew, I have cerebral palsy, and you can't have it. Jealous? Immediately, that's great. I'm watching it. So that's an example of the hook, but it's also an example of how you build content that's entertaining, that's not an ad. It doesn't feel like, I mean, you know it's kind of an ad, but you want to watch it. You're like, oh, this is great. It's entertaining. If you can come up with content like that, you're going to win every time. Second type of content is, I got to find it here. Gosh, there's so much stuff to look through. Where'd it go? It was just here yesterday. Where are you? Oh, here it is. It's below it. So it says, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It's going to be so sick. Life will be great. What entrepreneurship is really like. I can relate. So can you probably, because we're all business owners in here. Gosh, I can't imagine doing that. That is exactly what it would look like if I did that, though. So the reason I bring this up is this is just entertaining content. This is mindless whatever. But if you find a way to do that and then you tag let's say you write something different on there, right? So you take that same video and you put on there like how you think buying your first house is going to be without a realtor. And then when you land, it's like how it's going without a realtor. Something like that, right? So like it's entertaining, it gets them to watch it, and your message gets across without it being, hi, my name is Dan and I sell homes. Like, yeah, so does everybody else. You can throw a rock and hit a realtor in the head. I said that the last time I was here too. Because I watched my own video back yesterday, I was like, I said that same thing. So that's another type. And then the third type, and I think this one could really benefit you guys because this is the head of Instagram talking. His name's Adam Mosseri. He gives tips on what's going on with Instagram, and he does it the exact same way every time. 100% of the time. I've never seen a different style from him, and it looks like this. And he talks the same, and it's the same, but you know what you're getting. So he's built reputation from facial recognition to the style, the structure of the videos, and the content. The content works because I know as a business owner and an agency owner that I know what I'm going to get from him. I'm going to get a tip that I could probably use in my agency and my business. And so, first of all, I recommend following him. This is one of those cases where following somebody does matter because you want to remember and see his stuff again. It's not just the snow page. Like there's a million of those out there. If you followed every one of those skiing pages out there, that's all you would do. But this guy, he's worth following because he gives you great tips. So let's listen and see what he says here. I have not watched this one. I just saw it pop up yesterday.
A quick note on 2025. Now, I think this is going to be a pretty busy year, not only because we've got a lot going on Instagram, but because there's a lot happening in the world right now. So I wanted to stress that at Instagram, we're going to be focused on two things: creativity and connecting with the people that you care about. Now, Instagram was really founded on the idea of allowing anybody to share something creative that they were proud to share. And so we want to double down on that by making sure that our creative tools are best in class across the board, which they are not right now, by embracing new technologies like AI to allow more creators to create more content that they're proud of, by trying to reward creative content more by focusing ranking on things like originality. But we don't just want to be a place where people who are creative share and other people passively consume. We want people to connect over the things that they discover on Instagram. And so in terms of connecting with friends, a few more things that we're going to focus on. Doubling down on messaging, which, by the way, is the primary way people share on Instagram today, even though a lot of people don't think of us that way. We're also going to look for more ways to make recommendations and consuming content more interactive and more social. And we're going to be exploring some new ways to connect with your friends on Instagram. So a lot more to come around creativity and connecting with friends. Let me know down below in the comments what features you'd like to see us work on first. See y'all soon. It's going to be a busy year. Peace.
What was his name?
Adam Mosseri, Mosseri. His handle on Instagram is just Mosseri. Moss, like Moss, ERI. He's the head of Instagram. So that's funny he brought up messaging after I was just talking about messaging. So that guy's video, I could see like some people in this room doing something like that, where you just create it's very easy to do. You put your phone up and you talk. You know what you're going to say ahead of time. You don't have to plan it out for a long time, just kind of know. And if you stumble and as long as it's not like every other word, doesn't matter. He kind of screwed up a couple times in there. He doesn't care. Nobody cares. The biggest thing I want to leave you with is turn the camera on and just make content, because it's the only way you're going to break through to people out there with all the noise of what's going on and all the stuff. It really matters in this crazy world we live in. Love social media or hate it. It's not going away, and it's free. That's the cool thing about it. Yeah, you can run paid ads. You can pay for it. But really, other than your time that you put in, there's not an actual dollar amount that you have to spend on it to make it work. You can sit down with the camera, with the phone. You don't even have, that's the crazy thing too, you don't need equipment. You just need this thing. And a little help maybe from ChatGPT, and you've got a world of creativity at your fingertips, like we've never seen in all the years of marketing for 1,000 years. This is changing businesses. We see it every day. The people that are doing it right are just dominating, and the people that aren't are coasting, and some of them are failing. We've seen some businesses in the last year go out of business that, and I'm not saying this I hate saying it, like I built this company to help small businesses, but one of them recently was a coaching client, and they didn't do what we kind of told them to do. Like they had an excuse of why something wouldn't work. Everything we brought to them wouldn't work. This wouldn't work, that wouldn't work. Well, we can't do that. Well, we don't have time. What do you mean you don't have time? Because what are you doing other than growing your business? If you're a business owner, or we're all business owners, whether we work for somebody else or not, it's really our own business. We take home the paycheck. So what are you doing if you're not working on business development and growing your business? Nothing's more important than that. I mean, at the end of the day, if that goes away, you have nothing else to do anyway. There's no new customers, that's it. So my advice to businesses that I work with, and I do a lot of coaching, is to dive all in, go all in. If you need an extra 30 minutes a day to do it, I guarantee you can find another 30 minutes in a day. How many minutes do we waste? I mean, I waste hours a day if I'd probably boil it down. There's always time. But these tips, I hope, will give you kind of a strategy for the year, some thought-provoking stuff that you can take out of here and be like, all right, I'm going to go create, start slow if you need to. Start with one piece of content a day. Because ideally, really, you should put out 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of content a day. And I don't get in this one, I didn't get into all the different methods of doing it, but stories up top of Instagram is huge. We had somebody, about a month ago now, I guess. It was I was right before the holidays. They went on a whole spree of just posting stories at our encouragement. And it's like, do 10 stories a day. And they did 10 stories a day. And their reach and engagement of their overall page, this is on Instagram I'm talking about in this case, went up 700%. And they sold more of the widget that they sold in that month from Instagram, because they sell on Instagram, than they'd ever sold before. And a lot of that connection came from stories, because that not tags, that's the wrong word, that engages you with your audience. So stories are what you see from people that you do follow and connect with. That's the benefit of stories. You can talk to your followers specifically in stories, because that's who sees it. The pages you follow show up as stories at the top of your Instagram feed. So it's different than a normal post. These are things that actually touch people that care about you, that follow you potentially. So they went all in on a story strategy, and it paid itself out in spades. The stuff works, is my point, but you got to put in the time and effort to make it happen. If you don't have the time and effort, then you hire somebody like us. But that's about all I have. We can open it up for Q&A. That's perfect, about a quarter till. So I will stick around as long as you need me to. I got plenty of time. Yes, sir.
So you talked about the YouTube, you and your wife watching YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
My wife and I watch shoplifter videos and South Korean high-end bakery ASMR videos.
I love it.
My question to you is, very cool. When did you streamline your interest and delve into car crash videos?
So,
I've never used that word.
yeah, well, here's the funny thing. Like, it's not something I searched up. It just started kind of showing up because you'll get test videos that pop into your feed. Ooh, that reminds me to tell you something in 1 second about test videos because Instagram has a new feature. But they just would pop in, and then I started watching more of them, and the more, it kind of is a self-feeding or self-fulfilling prophecy. The more they show me, the more I watch. The more I watch, the more they show me. And now I just get, I mean, I could open up right now, I bet it's 80%.
I wish they would speak in the bakery once because I would know South Korean.
Yeah,
You'd watch so many. They're
Right.
so engaging. It's like,
That's funny. Well, with all the AI translation that's happening and starting to come out, it won't be very long before you'll understand them perfectly one way or the other. But
they're not talking.
oh, they're not talking. Well, that.
Tracking and butter is mixing.
Oh, ASMR is what they are. They're ASMR videos. Yeah. Yep. So, real quick, there's a new feature on Instagram since the last time I was here that you all should know about, and that is trial posts, trial reels. So you can create a reel. You can send it out, and you can mark it as a trial, and it will only go out to a handful of people that are at the discretion of Instagram to test it. You can wait several days, see how the feedback is from it. Is this video producing likes, shares, comments, anything like that? Is it getting engagement, in other words, or is it not? And if it is, then you can turn a switch on, and it will be released to the masses, like a normal reel would be when you post it. So it's like it holds it back, tests it, and then you can decide. Or if it's not doing well, you can scrap it, you can edit it, you can do whatever you want to make it potentially work better. Very cool feature, something I highly recommend playing around with. And these are the things that when you get in and you start doing social media on the daily, you will realize all these different capabilities, and you'll be able to better your understanding of the platforms, better your business, better your marketing efforts, but you're not going to know it if you don't get in there and play around with it and keep up to date. And like I said, Adam Mosseri is a great way to keep up with things because he tells you all these different tips and tricks pretty much daily or weekly. Oh, you're good. But anyway, I wanted to say that for sure. And then you mentioned YouTube. Thank you for reminding me about that too. So if you've not started a YouTube channel yet, I highly recommend it. It's with the rise of YouTube TV right now, which is replacing cable for a lot of people. I just got rid of Comcast and got YouTube TV. I know half my neighbors did. With the rise of that, plus everybody watching this, plus the younger generation only watching YouTube and Netflix, which is your next set of home buyers pretty soon, right? They're teens now. They won't be teens for long. Those people, myself included, are all watching YouTube at a high level. And it's the second largest search engine to Google, but they're both owned by Alphabet, same company. So you've got all the winning recipe, all the ingredients for a winning recipe in YouTube. And the way to use that, a couple ways, I don't want to take all of our Q&A time for this, but it's important, I think. A couple ways to use YouTube that are highly impactful is to not sell what you do. Okay, so don't use it for selling homes or mortgages or anything else. Yes, you can put a couple posts in there about tips and all this stuff, that's fine. But really find your way of making your own entertaining channel. That could be, and a great way to do it for realtors is to be the local source for your region. Again, I probably talked about this. Knowing me, I probably talked about it last time I was here. But let's say you're based out of Joliet and you take just the surrounding areas. So you take, like, let's say Joliet, Lockport, Homer Glen, maybe Bolingbrook, New Lenox, whatever. You take a 10-mile radius and you go to every restaurant and every retailer that makes sense in that area and say, hey, I want to do a 2-minute video with you. Just you tell me about your business. I'm just interviewing business owners in the area. And then you sit down with them and say, hey, Joe, so how long have you owned this taco stand? Oh, I've had it for 10 years. Oh, really? Tell me more about it. Who's your favorite customer? What do you like to do? What's your favorite place to go in New Lenox or Joliet? They tell you, all right, well, thank you very much. Glad to see you. See you next time on this episode of Around Town with Dan, whatever, right? Do that twice a week. Now you got 100 episodes a year right there. You become the resource for that community. Then you chop those up or take them and use them on YouTube Shorts, which is their version of Reels. You use it on all of the social platforms, and you become the content/local go-to guide for your area. Now, if I'm going to buy from a realtor, do I want the person who has no credentials, no online ratings, no nothing, or do I go with the one that's got their own YouTube show and their own everything, right? It just makes sense, and you will separate yourself from it. But the benefit of it then is now you can put in other videos in the middle of those, such as how to fix the flange on your toilet, how to do these other things. And maybe you partner, I know I talked about this last time, maybe you partner with the best plumber around. You pick somebody that's got a big name, the Kevin Sabos or the whoever's in the area that's got big names, King Heating. And you have them partner with you on these videos. Now you're leveraging their reach and your reach, and you're providing great value to the audience because the audience is now searching how to fix my toilet. Guess who comes up eventually in videos? You. Oh, by the way, I also sell real estate. By the way, I do lending. Last thing I'll leave you with, and then I will just leave it for Q&A if we have any time left, because I don't want to keep talking. But there's so much to talk about, guys. So little time. And these are some of the key things that you could do right now to like immediately level up your business. But the thing I want to leave you with is you are not whatever you do in this room, whether you're a realtor, mortgage lender, whatever. You are a marketing company that happens to be a realtor, that happens to sell loans, that happens to do drone photography. You're a marketing company. That's all you are. And until you see yourself that way, you will never rise above the people that are doing that. Because there's a lot of realtors out there that are kicking butt on social media right now. Awesome videos of homes. Not the standard 6 slides of, you click through it and here's the bathroom, the living room, the family room, the basement. No, these are surround 360 view videos with amazing talking over it, amazing audio of you talking over it, things like that. And that's just the salesy side of the content. The rest of the content is exactly what I said, people around town, making content to be a source and a guide for people that are looking for that, for help in the area. If I just moved to this area and I don't know anybody, I want to talk to somebody that knows something. That could be you. So be a marketing company, not a realtor, not a mortgage lender, not a loan officer, whatever. You're a marketing agency first. All right, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Should we all be jumping on RedNote right now?
No. I'm glad you brought it up. So this could get a little political. I would rather have TikTok all day than RedNote. So RedNote is, for those of you who don't know, it is a communist Chinese-run platform that TikTokers are jumping over to using the hashtag TikTok refugee. They're jumping over there because they kind of see it as a big FU to TikTok. They're like, well, screw you, we're just going to go over here. Problem is, I don't even mind that as much. The problem is that RedNote is completely restrictive in its content and making it sound like that's okay for younger people to get on there. So younger people get on there, think it's okay to not be able to come up with their own ideas and say what they want to say and do what they want to do. So it's a complete suppression of freedom of speech, and they're making it sound like that's normal and that's okay. So let's just fast forward. Let's say 5 million teens go get on RedNote, and a year later, who knows what they've seen and heard and done, because it's all completely edited and designed for a certain way by the Chinese government. They won't let anything against them go on there. They won't let anything other than what they allow on there. So who knows what they're going to allow, right? So I just posted if you go on the FlipSwitch social media Facebook page, it's literally just type in FlipSwitch social media. One of the last couple posts is a post from Forbes magazine about RedNote, and I highly recommend you read it, especially if you have kids that might be on TikTok right now. Go read it, and I won't tell you anything else. You can make your own decisions from that. But no, I think here's what I think is going to happen. I think TikTok is either going to be banned in a couple days, looking like that's the case, or it's going to be extended for 90 days, in which case it'll probably be banned at the end of that. I don't know. However, what I do know is that there's room right now for a rise of another platform to take all that attention. I don't think all that attention is going to go to Reels. I think some will go to Snapchat with some of their functionality for younger people. But for the normal person that's 25, 30 years old on up that's on TikTok, and that's a huge percentage. The largest growth sector on TikTok in the last year was 30 to 50-year-olds or 35 to 55-year-olds. It is massive. It is not teen girls dancing. It is everything else. So there's a lot of speculation and rumor that Vine is going to make a significant comeback right now. Vine has the capability to be partnered with TikTok. Partnered with Twitter, rather. Twitter and X buying Vine, incorporating it into their platform and giving them the short form video feed that thing kind of missing at the moment, and that master, the thing was just we just talked about, right? Like the master ability to compete and grab attention from people using short form video, like that is kind of the master level of everything right now. That's why LinkedIn has it too. I think Vine is going to be maybe the one that comes out and does that. But keep your eye on it. And because here's the other thing, first movers, just like with TikTok, are going to have first advantage. So whatever, all that attention shifts. There's 275 million users, I believe, on TikTok in the US alone. All that attention has to go somewhere. It's not just going to go away. People, I made this joke yesterday when I was talking. People aren't just going to be like, oh, TikTok's gone. I guess I'll go outside and kick a ball. No, like they're going to find another social platform to jump on. Now, who that is, we'll see. But I truly believe it's not going to be one of the ones we are using right now at scale, like Instagram and Facebook Reels. I think it's going to be something like Vine. The red note is not the solution. Neither is Lemon 8. Lemon 8 is the other one. It's Lemon with the number 8. That's actually owned by ByteDance, the same company that owns TikTok. So you're just stepping out of one puddle and into another. How they're going to let that go without banning that one too, I don't know. If they're going to ban TikTok, they should ban Lemon 8. Both same company. But my point is that I don't think those are the solution. I think that there's one yet to be seen. Somebody's going to rise from the ashes and dominate. I wish I had the money to build my own platform and do it. But anyway, it's my unbiased, somewhat biased opinion on Red Note.
Hey, we are out of time.
I bet.
For Q&A. You want to just share with the folks how they can reach you?
Yeah, sure. And I'll stick around afterwards. If you have questions that we didn't get to, please come and ask me. I'm not going anywhere for a little bit. So you can find us everywhere at FlipSwitch social media or FlipSwitch Consulting Group. Same company, kind of two different parts, but website, everything online. Just Google FlipSwitch and you'll find us. The orange and blue logo gives it away. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.